What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about XCN OnyxCoin today. It is the 22nd day of November, and here we are sitting at about $0.00539 as it stands. 8 hours and 17 minutes left in the day. Hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it. I don't know if we've actually been paying attention to the fib extensions here. I've been looking at the grand scope. Whenever we look at the low here, I always look at the grand scope, but have we looked at this from a low to a high? We're kind of stopping in an odd area. Typically, you don't stop right in between the 1272 and the 1414 like this. You would actually go either find support directly at the 1272 or go a little bit through the 1414. So do be open-minded to the idea that maybe we consolidate. We could see a lower low. I'm itching for some upside, some relief rally, just like the rest of us. And I do think that we're gonna make our way up to about 1 cent, 1.3 cents, somewhere around here. I do think that we're going to make our way up here soon enough, probably by the end of the year. Just before that, we might see a little bit more decay, and if that happens, that's okay. If we go below 0.0442, that's okay. We don't want to go below 0.034 though. That would be problematic. That would not be okay. Looking at this here, we've had a little bit of a pump today, and that's nice to see. Let's look at the short-term stuff and see what we're dealing with. These little pumps have happened periodically throughout this drop since April 11th, so I'm not really impressed. I don't know if this means that we have higher to go. I don't even know if it technically means that we have lower to go. I would just say whatever. Treat the wick almost as if it's not there, right? We're just hanging out here, right? And we'll go from there. Let's see. Or maybe treat it like it's there and that's a signal that we do go lower. We'll see. 1 hour time frame here. Good bit of volume. That is a good bit of volume there, comparative to anything that we've seen recently since our last low. Hold on, guys. There we go. Let's see. I know that on Coinbase we like to fill our gaps, so I just want to see if there's any gaps here. With these lower market cap coins, typically there are gaps. So I don't see any gaps. That's good. Likely we don't have to go lower because of that. We could go lower for other reasons though. Let's look at the indicators. I will say right off the bat, the RSI looks great. The stochastics look like they're geared up to do some work, and the MACD is in a good position too. You guys, this is good. This looks good. We might be in a situation where we actually take out that high, and that's it's a 21% pump. That's nice. That's nice. We'll take it. 4 hour time frame here. Bullish divergence playing out. Yeah, you're in a more bullish position than you are a bearish position right now, but you've done this before. In fact, we've done something very similar to what we're doing now, and that did not end well for us, did it? So just keep that in mind. I would think, based off the 1 hour time frame, we move higher, and even looking at the 4 hour time frame, these indicators look like they want to move higher as well. The stochastics are pointed. They're pointed upwards. I guess you are crossed down, but overall, I would expect you to continue moving higher. And the MACD here also looks like you'd want to go higher. I would at least expect a reaction like this where you reject the zero if you were to come lower. So at least something that would push us back to about 0.006, 0.065, if not beyond. If we do start to shift the momentum a little bit, if things start to come back in a good way for OnyxCoin, if we take this, I guess at this point we would take this low to high here, or maybe the high to low. Let's take them both and just throw them on there and just see. It's going to be confusing because it's from the same points. Maybe we'll delete this. From here, the assumed target area would be somewhere around the 786 to the 886, maybe as high as the golden ratio. Sorry, guys. 12.3, 1.23 cents. We'll get to 12 and 21 cents soon enough. 1.23 cents to $0.00873. Okay, so something in this area is what I would expect. Realistically, more likely we'd stop somewhere in the 786, 886 zone. But if we break above about 1 cent, we should continue all the way up to about 1.2 cent. And when we're above 1.3.5, normally I'd say once we get above the golden ratio, then it's go time. But I'm being a little bit more rigid here. I think that we need to break above 1.4 cents. Once we break above 1.4 cents, then it's go time. Then it's time to start talking about higher highs, breaking out of this range, all that stuff. But for now, let's just focus on 0.0873 to about 1 cent. That's where I think we're going. That's our next target area. And if I'm right, we might be there. We'd likely be there by the end of this month of November. Awesome. And then based off of this fib, let's just see what we're doing from a high to a low. Right there, the 382, it's perfect, yeah. And typically you go just above the 382, so something around 1 cent. I would say with this, I'm more convinced that we will probably achieve something above 0.009. We probably do. So whereas this indicator, this fib was telling us 0.0873 at a minimum, I would say that a more appropriate minimum would be 0.091 or higher, likely higher. It's very common when working your way up to the 382. It's very common to find resistance here. You wick above it, you close below it, and you move back to your 236, and then you move up to your golden ratio. Wouldn't that be perfect? Finding resistance at prior resistance, finding support at prior resistance, and then moving up and breaking out of our resistance point, finding resistance here. We can back test for support back in this area and then continue to rally. It'd be interesting to see what happens. And the thing is, typically, this is just the standard that I would expect, 382, 236 golden ratio. But there's so many different ways to go about this. If we go to the 0.5, if we go to the 236 and consolidate, or if we go to the 382 and consolidate, depending on how we do this, we can set ourselves up in a way where we do not stop at the golden ratio and we do break through and we stop up here. But we're not even at this line yet. So I want to see how we interact with the 382 and the 0.5 area. I want to see that first before we start making the assumptions that we could go above the golden ratio. The only reason I'm thinking about that is because when OnyxCoin does recover, typically we get some voluptuous price action, right? It's always been like that. It's always been like that, right? Whenever we're at the low and we're actually starting to move up, even here, whenever it's less fast, we still had a very nice recovery to the upside, very consistent recovery. So I would expect by the end of the year, not only are we above 1 cent, I'm starting to think we'll be above 1 cent by the end of the month, as long as Bitcoin holds up its end of the bargain. But we should be above 1.4 cent by the end of the year, perhaps even above 2 cents by the end of the year. And then once we're above those levels, getting above 1.4 cent really is the key in my opinion. It's the golden ratio and it's this prior area of resistance here. It's where we break out of our downtrend. But 2 cents really is the line to watch. Once you break above 2 cents, once you get above this point, it's irrefutable at that point that we are likely going to see extensions toward 4.4 to 8.2 cents. And my only question is this: if and when we get to 4 cents, what are people going to think when they see this? When they see this massive downward trend from a massive upward trend, when they see this, what are they going to think? Are they going to think, okay, it's time to take profits? No, because no offense, but most people are probably not buying down here. They're scared. It's been moving down for a year. There's no the people who are in it right now, who will ride this thing up here, they're not going to sell because they're like you and me. They understand that this thing's going to go higher, right? That's the only people who are buying here. That's the only people who bought here who are still holding. Are people who are likely not going to take profits at 4 cents. Now, there might be some people who take profits at the high just on principle alone. The market makers might do that. I don't know. But I would assume that we don't stop here for long. We probably do push higher. The only thought that I'm trying to promote here is once we're at 4 cents, what do you think the average market participant is going to think of this thing? Do you think they're going to think, okay, it's going to come back down, this thing's a Ponzi, or do you think it's going to be, oh, wow, it came back from the grave, it found support right at prior resistance, literally perfectly right here, support right there, it couldn't have been more perfect, prior resistance back here. The Bitcoin chart looks phenomenal, right? If anybody worth their salt is doing an analysis here, they're going to look at the Bitcoin chart and they're going to see that on the weekly time frame we have immaculate, absolutely perfect bullish divergence on the stochastics. That's not what I meant to pull up, but still we do have bullish divergence on the stochastics. Bullish divergence on the MACD. I mean, it's perfect. It's literally perfect on the weekly time frame too. And I mean, this in itself, this is, I feel like, more well structured. But if we look at this from a low to a high, you're right below your 1414, like we were ideally talking about with the U.S. dollar price. And then we've interacted with these areas for support back here. From our low here to the high up here, we're literally at the golden ratio zone on the Bitcoin chart for support. I mean, there's just no scenario that I'm looking at here where we don't at least see some kind of immense recovery with this. I would very much expect that we see a higher high. But from here, this kind of a move is basically equivalent to this move here, and that move would take us to this area of resistance here. And I think that's what we're earmarked for. For a long time, we thought we'd break out and we go all the way up here. And I think that you can come back up here. I think it could happen maybe by the end of the cycle. But this next stopping point is going to be here. We've just got too much to move. I doubt that we're going to see a move that's tremendously bigger. It could happen. You never know. I mean, if anything, I think we're not bullish enough on OnyxCoin, not the other way around. But I would think that we move up here. And to any degree, I mean, let's assume that we don't move up there. Let's assume that we just get a standard retracement from a high to a low. Let's just go to the golden ratio. That's at 6020. I want to pull this up again because I'm kind of not confused, but forgetting what the numbers are. I want to say this takes us above 2 cents. Let's just see. XCN BTC, it's 6020598. 6020598. Come on. Come on. It's not letting me. 6020598. Is that what it is? 6020598. Yes. And then multiply that by what the perceived Bitcoin price will be. So Bitcoin's price right now is like 86K or 84K. I'm sorry. By the time OnyxCoin retraces to its golden ratio versus Bitcoin, like if we got rid of this line and we only retraced here, I would assume Bitcoin's probably going to be above 100K. It would probably be above 100K. I don't know where it'll be, but it'll be above 100K. So let's just input that 100K. Let's even be more conservative. Let's say 90K. That'd give us just under a 2 cent price. If it was 100K, it would be just over a 2 cent price. But still, that price itself, 1.8 cents, is enough to break out of the downtrend on the US dollar pair, right? Imagine that we're at 1.8 cents. The same kind of thought that I'm promoting here with this 4 cent idea is that the perspective is going to shift. You know, from here to here. From here, OnyxCoin is dead. It's a scam project. Nobody wants to invest in it. Blah blah blah. From here, hold up now. We're breaking out of a trend that we've had for about a year. Everybody gave up on it. They were pessimistic at the lows where we literally found support directly at prior resistance. Hold on now. This is good structure. Wait a second. You're telling me that the Bitcoin chart looks like this. We're finding support at the golden ratio. We've got bullish divergence, severe bullish divergence on the MACD and the stochastics on the weekly time frame. And on the weekly time frame here, we have bullish divergence on the stochastics, bullish divergence on the MACD, on the US dollar pair, and we are at the most oversold areas that we've seen really since 2023. Yeah, this might be a legitimate bounce, right? This might be a legitimate breakout. Where's this thing going to go? If it's been consolidating this long, it's probably going to see higher highs, right? So again, the perspective shift that comes even with the measly 1.8 cent price will be immense enough, I think, to take this thing to higher prices than it's seen all cycle. Anyways, I've got nothing else. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you did, hit the like button, subscribe, take care of yourselves. I'll see you on the next one, okay? Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.